Good morning. You all haven't seen me in a long time since I was very, very ill when I had my original surgery. And I suppose it's because I'm trying to enjoy life and I just haven't had time. I don't even really go on Charlie O's page very often, and I've really got to stop that too. I just been thanking God so much, for the life that I've got. But I wanted to show y'all what happened and how I changed my urinary diversion. I'm an ostomy. They took a piece of my intestines and took it and pulled it out of my body, and they attached my ureters into the intestines so that my kidneys can still drain and I can still be alive. I'm lucky enough that the organ that I have could be replaced that way. And cosmetics are not an issue because I've been married for 13 years and my husband loves me very much. So I wanted to just show my ostomy and how I change it. And hopefully there's a lot of guys that show this, but I thought because I'm a woman, I'm not scared to show you what happened to me and why I was so sick and how I take care of myself so I can live day to day. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how I change my my ostomy care, how I do my ostomy care. So they put it here. It's on my right hand side. They choose the right hand side because that's the strongest part of my stomach. This is my that's the surgical place where they took out my bladder, and this is my urinary diversion bag. I just took a shower, so I know it's loose. So when you take this off, you pull the skin away from the wafer, not the wafer away from the skin, because you don't want to hurt yourself, and it is adhesive. So you just gently just push that skin away, and it will come off relatively easy, especially after a shower where it's wet. And once you do that, you can see the exposed ostomy site. Now, this here stuff on my bed is the stuff that I use to get myself done. A dry towel, a wet towel, and a soapy towel, my ostomy bag, my ostomy belt, ostomy powder, my measuring ostomy, no sting barrier film, a tampon because that absorbs well and my ostomy does leak. This is my wafer, and this is a ring barrier. So I don't have this on reverse so I can see, but this is the stuff that I need, and a pair of scissors. So this here is very important because it comes to you one size and you have to fit it. So what I do is, well, first I've got to take out the Tampax because my ostomy does leak and I don't want urine on my body. So I use that Tampax for that. Now this is a very healthy looking ostomy. My ostomy kind of sticks in my belly a little bit, so that's why I use the ostomy belt. But it don't alarm you that this is red because it's supposed to be red. If it's not red, that's when you should be alarmed. Sometimes when I clean it, it bleeds, but it doesn't hurt, and it's supposed to. It's actually a live organ, and it really doesn't have any feeling. So the first thing I do is I use, they say not to use soap, but I just have to do something about that itchy kind of feeling that I get from the adhesive. So I wash it, and like I said, it doesn't hurt. So I wash it and I just took a shower anyways, but I didn't take it off, so I'm going to wash this anyways and really get that feeling good. Now see, it's bleeding, but don't worry about that. That is not harming me a bit, and it's just absolutely natural for that to happen. And this here is my wet. It has no soap on it. And again, I'm going to just wash around there and get that nice and clean and try to take the soap off of it. And then once I use those rags, then I can use a dry towel and really just dry it up. And it feels good to have it off for a little while because I have to live with this for the rest of my life. I have to put my wafer on once every 5 days, sooner sometimes rather than later. And I have to change my urinary pouch every 2 to 3 days to keep it clean, because I don't want the bacteria going back in to my kidneys, and your intestines does tend to hold on to bacteria. That's what it's designed to do. So I know it looks awful, but my husband loves me and I'm alive. So now that I have dried it off and it looks really good, what I'm going to do is, this here is my barrier. This is my wafer, and I made a magic marker. I used my measuring tool to check how big my stoma is, my ostomy, and then I marked it here because they don't come cut to the same part, and I've already started to cut it, and I'm going to finish cutting it, and then now I've taken this part off of there and I've made it my size. Okay, and then I take off the end, and I take off the paper, and this does expose it to be the correct size. As you can see, it will fit. Well, I don't want to touch it on my ostomy, but it does fit right on top of there. That's what we want. Then I've got my barrier, and the reason why I use this ring barrier is because it does kind of go into my belly a little bit, and I did lose a few stitches on this side, probably because I was doing too much and I'm just stubborn. But in any case, it sticks into my belly, so I take that off, and then I take off the top layer, and then what I do is I stick it onto this. And what that creates for me is a little bit higher convex. So when it pushes into my belly, it has a tendency of pushing this out. It will push this out like that, so the urine will go inside the bag and not on my belly. So that's really important. So I'm taking that off, and I kind of make it. I use my fingers and I kind of mold it. It's just kind of like silly putty, and I just kind of mold it to my wafer, and that will make a nice barrier for my ostomy to last me for a few days. This is adhesive, just like a Band-Aid. I like to pull that off first, because it does have a little stick to it. And now that I've done all that, I have my my no sting barrier film. Now what this is I take it and I open it, and it's got a little sponge inside. And the reason for the sponge is it has a particular kind of film on it that helps to make a liquid Band-Aid. And I use this here is my my stoma powder, and when I put that powder around my stoma, don't worry about that, it hit my stoma, it doesn't hurt anything. I put the powder around, and then I use this little sponge and I dab it on there, and when I do that, it creates a liquid Band-Aid for me. That way the irritation that you're seeing with the ring, it doesn't hurt me, it just irritates a little bit. So if you put this stuff on, that will put a little Band-Aid on there, so the next time that you put a wafer on, it doesn't hurt and it gives it a chance to heal. So now I've done that, I'm just going to wipe around the edges, make sure that's good. Like I said, don't worry about a little bit of powder on your stomach, it ain't going to hurt nothing. Now I'm just going to let that dry. I use my wafer to fan it. It's looking good. It's looking real good. It feels pretty dry now. And now I'm going to place my wafer over my stoma. Now, once I do that, I put the tampon there to keep it from leaking, because it does send urine out of my body, well, probably one every 4 seconds or every 3 seconds or so. It's very healthy, and so I put my hand over it because the ostomy nurse told me that my hand is warm, and it will make it to where it will kind of form better, and the adhesive of the wafer itself will it will just warm up, and it will stick on my body better, and we want it to stick really well. So once I've done that, then I take the pieces that I pulled, and I take that off, and just like a band-aid, that's going to stick to me. So I've taken off both sides. Now I'm going to just glue it onto my body like a band-aid, and it's nothing more than a band-aid. Oh. And now that is my appliance. I hate that they call it an appliance, but that's an appliance. And then the very last stage is, this is just like Tupperware. You can see it has a ring, just like Tupperware, and on my bag is the other part of the Tupperware. This here is for my ostomy belt to attach, and the ostomy belt's job is to hold my belly in really, really tight like that, so my ostomy will stick out as far as possible to give me the cleanest urinary diversion. So now, very last stage, I'm going to take this bag, I'm going to turn it around, and just like Tupperware, I'm going to snap it on, and you can hear it snap. And I make sure that it's on really well. And I have a very clean bag, and I have a very clean ostomy site, and I'm ready to go. I'll be wearing this for 3 days, probably 2. Then I'll change it. I'll just take it off and put another one on. And I like the convex because I really do need my ostomy to stick out. Now, just like I said, this is my ostomy belt hooks. I hook it right there. If I can do it. I hook it there. It goes around my body. And then I hook it again. And it really just holds it in really tight. It's you know, maybe if you're worried about getting married or something, or you know, maybe if you're worried about those kind of things, cosmetics is important. But I think life is important, and I think if somebody can't accept that this is the only thing that keeps you alive, then they ain't worth spit. I hope you all learned a little something from this little video. I am feeling better, and Charlie was doing good, and I'm very, very busy enjoying life, and thank you all for loving me so much and watching my videos. I'll try to get more Charlie up once my hunting season's over. Love you all. Thanks. Bye.